Hello and welcome back to the Uninformed College Football Rants podcast. I'm your host, Jack Flanagan. This is my co-host, Keith Flanagan. And today our guest is...
Don Buckingham, lifelong University of Nebraska Cornhuskers football fan.
Okay, why don't we start with my top 10. Number 1, Georgia. I mean, come on, they won the national championship 2 years in a row. I think that's enough to rank them number 1. Number 2, Michigan. Disappointing end to last year, but we'll see how they do this year. Number 3, Ohio State. They're consistently a very good football team. Number 4, USC. Best offense in the country, like 143rd best defense in the country. Number 5, Penn State. They're a great Big Ten team. Number 6, Alabama. I think they're kind of overrated, and I don't think Jalen Milroe is going to be a very good quarterback because he can't really hold on to the ball. Number 7, Florida State. Jordan Travis, great offense. Mike Norvell is a great coach. I see them going pretty far this year. Number 8, Washington. Michael Penix. I could see them making the CFP even. Number 9, Notre Dame. Again, a great quarterback in Sam Hartman, and I think they're going to improve a lot on last year. And number 10, Tennessee. They beat Alabama last year. We'll see if they can do it again. This week's honorable mention goes to Texas. I think they can be, after their loss in the Alamo Bowl last year, I think that they're going to have a pretty good season this year. And dishonorable mention goes to Texas A&M. Again, Jimbo Fisher. You know them. They're going to be overrated. They're not going to do anything.
Don, what do you think? You have any, would you do things, any notable differences with Jack?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a couple for sure. I think Jack will appreciate this. I actually think Michigan might be the best team in the country this year, and it pains me to say that. Pains me. So I think I have Michigan number 1, and then I have a very hot take on the SEC this year. I think LSU is the best team in the SEC this year. I think LSU is number 2 in the country.
Wow, Brian Kelly.
Yeah. The only, what other key differences?
So I have Michigan first, LSU second, Georgia third, Ohio State fourth, and then I would have to look at a list, but probably USC fifth if I had to guess. And then I don't have any kind of particular opinion on rounding out the top 10.
But what about Alabama? Why do people pretend Alabama's not even there? It's like they're still there.
They are, but here's the thing. Respect the hell out of that program and Nick Saban, but Kirby Smart has taken Nick Saban's playbook and just does it better at this point in his career.
The only place where go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, so the whole success for Nick Saban at Alabama has been essentially recruit the best athletes in the country and recruit, the best coordinators in the country. And Kirby Smart is doing that better now than Alabama is. So, I don't know. I think Alabama's going to take a step back this year.
Okay. Here are my contrarian takes vis-a-vis the two of you. Number 1, if Alabama returns to its roots and gets Smash Mouth again, watch out. And number 2, I'm a USC fan and no one loves them, more than I do or wants to see them succeed. Just a quick reminder that they have a mediocre high school defense, right? And they're going to get lit up. So
they have the best quarterback in the country.
For sure.
And the best offense.
It's not even close.
For sure. It's just I really worry about Notre Dame, Washington, Oregon, and even UCLA. If USC beats those teams, it's going to be 72-71. It's
it's going to be a basketball score.
I'm okay with that. I have a lot of faith in Lincoln Riley. I think he's a great offensive mind. I think USC is going to be very good this year, and you are correct. It's going to be despite their defense.
Yeah. So last year, this team went 1-11. I thought, oh my God, I'm never going to talk about this team on the podcast. They're so bad. Well, here we are talking about Northwestern. What's your take on the hazing scandal going on there?
Well, first, I would like to point out that one win last year came against my beloved Huskers. So that
was that the one in... Where was that?
I think it was in
that
Dublin.
was in Ireland.
Yeah.
You know, the hazing scandal is that the behaviors that were described and the accusations there are just frankly a thing of the past. There is just no place for that in modern football. Bottom line. So I can appreciate the fact that they felt that as the leader of the program, he should have been aware. And I don't have any disagreements. They should have probably come to that conclusion sooner. But I don't have any issues with what they've done to rectify the situation there.
And also, it's like a good academic school with I don't know, a 9% acceptance rate. They care about academics. They're Pat Fitzgerald is a good guy. And it's not like LSU where I bet that happens every day.
Yeah, you just a school of Northwestern's, well, no school should let that happen, and a school of Northwestern's academic caliber can't tolerate that. And I agree, Pat Fitzgerald should have known. It's really too bad because he seemed like a class act who bled purple and had brought.
He was,
yeah.
But he should have known better. Bottom line, he should have known better.
So, Jack, it's crazy because normally in situations like this, I can expect an anti-woke rant from you. So, at the same time, the reports are shocking.
Yeah.
So why did you put this on the agenda?
I don't know. It was just Northwestern.
To kick them when they're down?
Yeah, of course. What else do you expect me to do? Why don't we move into our next topic of conference realignment? This news came a few days ago, but Stanford and Cal were just accepted into the ACC. Well, I'm not sure if everyone knows this, but the ACC stands for the Atlantic Coast Conference, and the University of California is about as far from the Atlantic as you can get. What's your take on that?
The SEC is the next, or the ACC is the next to go. Let's be honest. It's going to end up being 3 mega conferences aligned around the SEC, the Big Ten, and probably the Big 12. And the ACC, this is just delaying the inevitable. And it's all about eyeballs on television screens and the ability to generate. It is what it is at this point. It's a business. It's a big business. It is essentially a minor league professional football league at this point, and the ACC is never going to be able to generate for their members the kind of revenue required to compete, and it's only a matter of time before what happened to the Pac-12 happens to the ACC.
So, Don, the thing that is sad, there's a lot of things that are sad, but I miss the natural and spirited rivalries disappearing. For USC not to be able to play Stanford and Cal is a bummer. What are the natural and traditional rivalries with Nebraska that now are gone?
Yeah, obviously Oklahoma.
Right.
The game of the century, what everybody calls the game of the century was the Nebraska-Oklahoma game. And they played every year, and it was, insanely successful for both those programs because at the time, now it's you can watch any game you want on television. Believe it or not, Gen Z and millennials, there was a time when that was not the case.
Right.
Woe is you if you were a Kansas Jayhawks football fan because they were not going to be on television unless they were playing Nebraska or somebody else. And so, part of the competitive advantage that Oklahoma and Nebraska had is when they were building those programs and sustaining those programs was that they were on television all the time. And once the Big 12 started, at this point, I've just accepted this is the nature of football. It was shocking when the Big 12 expansion happened and Texas was added and they dropped the Nebraska-Oklahoma annual game.
Yeah.
I mean, shocking.
Right.
Like, you just... And so now...
It's like unthinkable.
Unthinkable.
Yeah.
Unthinkable. And it was to Nebraska's detriment, to be honest with you. I mean, you can see kind of the attrition there over the years, but it shouldn't have gone as far down as it did. And we can get into that later.
Okay, so Don, tell us, when you grew up, Nebraska was ultra elite, right? So it's hard to describe a couple decades of your Huskers fandom in a few minutes. But what has the roller coaster ride of being a lifelong Nebraska football fan been like? And I know that they lost yesterday, but that's a blip. What are your hopes concerning trajectory?
So, bottom line is this: it is not that difficult to see what happened. Frank Solich never should have been fired the way that he was. That was the byproduct of a poor hire at the athletic director position. They hired that guy from Pitt. I'm trying to remember his name, but he went out and he thought he knew better, and he ended up with Bill Callahan. And it severely damaged the brand. It just did. And at the time, Nebraska was used to Tom Osborne. And, Frank Solich's 9-win seasons were, unpalatable to the fan base.
People don't realize in the middle of success just how delicate that success is. And they think that brand is guaranteed 10-win seasons. No, man.
And it's not.
It can change in a heartbeat and then you're screwed for decades.
But we weren't screwed for decades.
Huh.
I mean, that's a misnomer because people forget about the Bo Pelini era.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Pelini was a great coach, and we won a lot of games with Bo Pelini. If he had not been a psycho, he could probably still have been the coach at Nebraska today, and we would be telling a different story. Now, maybe we wouldn't have won a national title, but I think the fan base was pretty happy with Pelini until all that stuff came out, And his sideline antics weren't, very palatable to the fan base. But they were certainly happy with the way that he coached. They just weren't happy with some of the blowout losses.
So what is, how far are you, how much distance do you have to travel to compete, move up a couple notches? You're not going to be Michigan, Ohio State, or Penn State tomorrow, but you, in next year, should be able to beat Minnesota.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I think Matt Rule was the right hire. And, I also thought Scott Frost was the right hire and full,
yeah, everyone did.
Everyone did.
Yeah, yeah.
And hindsight being 2020, he never really built a program. He had taken somebody else's players and been successful. Nebraska at this point is a rebuild, and I think Matt Rule is the right hire for that. And I think the expectation is we just want to start making bowl games every year again.
Right.
Start there.
Right.
That's where the fan base should be, and I think that's where it's at.
And you really need one signature win this year and next year, like beating an Iowa or a Wisconsin.
Well, we beat Iowa last year. We need to beat Wisconsin. In my opinion, Iowa, frankly, overachieves every year. They're just not that good. They really aren't that good. And I think we should, in my opinion, we should be beating Iowa every year. I think that we have superior talent to Iowa every year. And I really believe we should be beating them every year.
Well, okay, but I'm a USC fan, and I think that USC should always beat Utah, but Utah is the Iowa of the Pac-12. They're just always better coached.
No. Utah has a better coach than Iowa does.
Really?
Full stop.
Huh.
Oh, yeah.
Huh.
How long has Kirk Ferentz been their coach? 35 years or something?
He has. And he's got his kid as the offensive coordinator, and that guy is a disaster.
And he can get away with saying things that are politically unpalatable because he's in Iowa and they don't care.
Yeah. How do you feel about Matt Rule, like just as a coach?
I think, looking at what he did, so I point to the kind of the reclamation projects that he's taken on in college football in the past, and they have been huge. So Temple is just a horrible bottom-feeding program historically. And I think he's the only coach to have ever had a 10-win season there. Isn't that right? Yeah. I mean, that's
probably
incredible. Absolutely incredible that he had a 10-win season at Temple. And then to look at what he did when Baylor had basically gotten the death penalty practically. I mean, for all intents and purposes they had. And for him to go in there and turn that program around, in 3 years was incredible. So I think he is when I was so excited about Scott Frost, and then when I first heard his press conference, the first press conference he had, I was like, oh my God, this guy's an idiot. I was like, this guy. So Matt Rule sounds like an adult in the room.
Okay, why don't we move on to the CFP preview? What's your take on the CFP?
So Jack motioned to me. I'll put it out there first. My picks are the most conventional, right? Until someone disproves it, it's Georgia, Alabama, Michigan, and team to be named later. Let's just say I just can't pick USC. Maybe UW.
Okay, so what I'm gonna say is Georgia number 1. For me, I think that they're gonna be great again this year. Number 2, I gotta go Michigan. I think that they're a very solid team. Number 3, I'm gonna go out and say it, Florida State. I think that they're in the ACC, which is not a very difficult conference, and I think that they're gonna go out and win it. And then number 4, you know what? I'm gonna go with USC. I know that they have probably the worst defense in college football, but they have the best offense, and I think that that's gonna carry them.
Don, Jack is pro Florida State all of a sudden. Number 1, because he's a notorious fair weather fan and they're kind of the hot ticket right now. And number 2, because we believe that they are the trashiest program in Florida, and that appeals to us.
Yeah.
That's a hot take. Can I go?
Yeah.
Of course.
All right. So I have Michigan number 1.
They gotta have some new anti-choking and bowl games initiative though.
Yeah.
What is up with that?
What it boils down to is another year of seasoning for that quarterback, because they have the second best quarterback in the country, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I go Michigan number 1, number 2 LSU.
Yeah.
Number 3 Georgia, number 4 USC.
So there's some mixed feelings concerning Brian Kelly in this household.
Yeah.
Gwen, my wife, Jack's mama, is a domer, and never really liked Brian Kelly's sourpuss, scowly, beat red on the sidelines vibe. But you gotta admire his skill. Right? And now he's in a place where there's basically no academic standards, whatever. And he went there for that reason, so that he could recruit better and be stronger. And that dude's track record speaks for itself, right?
Yeah.
So
and they got better. They got better as the year went on last year.
Yeah, they're very menacing, and we're gonna keep an eye on them for sure.
Definitely.
Don, cannot thank you enough for joining us for our kickoff podcast.